Hello there and welcome to Club PlayStation Level 23. Welcome, Mr. Jason Novak.
Guten Tag, guten Abend.
Hello there.
Yes, that was
No,
good
no
day
Nick.
and good evening.
No Nick. We might have to find a
You froze on
mute,
me.
so.
Oh no. Okay, that was me.
I
Okay.
froze. I froze.
I don't know if it was you or me. I heard might have might have to find, and I was like, are we gonna get to the end of that sentence?
So Uncharted 3 finally finished downloading on Saturday or something like that.
Oh, how many? Yeah, how long did that actually take?
Well, so for the trilogy, it took at least five days, 6 days maybe.
That's rough.
That's a long download time, man. That's
It really is.
I could not understand how people live with that in the current times when that was their only system.
Yeah, I had mentioned last week, but I wasn't sure if I clarified quite enough. The problem is clearly on, or was clearly on Sony's end for that, and I say that
The
because
servers were too slow.
yeah, and I say that because the Wi-Fi and even the Ethernet that was built into the PS3, I could wirelessly, do an FTP direct transfer of stuff when my PS3
Yeah,
was jailbroken, and it went through exponentially
and you can
faster.
do connection tests which show its speed, but that doesn't correlate to the PSN store speed.
Yeah, no, and again, even though it's technically the same PSN, it's not the same on the PlayStation 4 or even the PS Vita side of the house.
Yeah, they fix that crap. Yeah.
Yeah. Though I will say, man, the Vita, it kills me trying to download anything on the Vita because when it's downloading, you're not doing anything and it goes into standby mode and it cancels whatever you're or pauses whatever you're downloading when it goes into standby mode.
It does?
Yes!
I never noticed that.
It's so frackin' annoying because then you want to say, oh man, it should be done downloading. Let me turn my Vita back on. Oh wait, it stopped.
I can shut the freaking lid on my 3DS and stuff keeps downloading.
Sony's network it's
Yeah.
so facepalm worthy.
Now, I gotta say, Uncharted 1, I'm 6 or 7 chapters into it. I love the chapter divide in these games. It's a really nice way to break it up for quick sessions, So I'm doing like a chapter of play session, a chapter or two, depending on how long I'm playing. But I'm really enjoying it. Did you play these games?
No, I've heard so much about them, and becoming for want of a better term, PlayStation fan that I'm becoming, I feel like I almost need to play them.
It's required reading.
Well, I got the required reading, but you know what? I look at games like I understand how amazing Tomb Raider was back in the day.
These still look great, though. Uncharted 1, it looks beautiful still. It holds up.
Does it?
I never played it, so I have no nostalgic for it. It looks good. It honestly looks good. Whatever they did back then, it holds up really well. It's 20 gigs, so, I mean, it was definitely designed with HDMI, and the graphics are really solid, and the cutscenes are great. And, yeah, there's no headache in my head like I have with PS2 games and some other early
Yeah.
PS3.
Some of those original forays into 3D were
Yeah, they had this nailed at this point in the PS3. So
okay. I don't know.
definitely
Maybe
worth
I'll
looking
get a
into.
chance to go back and play it, but I've got so much. It feels like every game is adding another weight to the rope around my
Well,
neck on my back catalog.
I feel
so-
like, Jason, we have to have this trilogy played by Uncharted 4 release date. Be ready.
we would have to if we were planning on playing it because I've skipped
You're
the
not
other
planning on
ones.
playing Uncharted 4?
I'm not sure that I will. No.
That's PlayStation's game. That's the game they played this year. That's all they got going for it, really. Except
Well,
for
actually, no.
sorry, I shouldn't say that, but that's the first party what they had written for it.
I think my biggest PlayStation game of this year is probably going to be Bloodborne.
Really, that dark and scary and bloody game.
Well, I'm a man, Tim. No.
I get
Uh,
really
j-
freaked out. I saw a trailer. It's
I
like,
know.
this is too intense for me. I'm sorry.
Obviously, I'm just harassing you, but
Yeah.
as a fan of the Souls line of games, and the changes that it looks like have been wrought on Bloodborne, I'm really interested in trying it because I'm hoping it will freshen up a line of games that actually surprisingly became stale pretty quickly. So I'm really interested in Bloodborne, and I'm hoping it delivers for me.
I hope so as well. You have to let me know how gory and bloody it is, because I can't handle that.
I'll be there for you. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Give you a shoulder cry
That
on.
E3, I saw Bloodborne and Mortal Kombat X in the same presentation. It's
Oh.
like, what has gaming come to? I can't handle this. I'm too old. Or
And
something like that. Or
Actually,
the opposite,
another.
too young. I don't know.
Speaking of like horror and everything, another game I'm really looking forward to on my PS4 is Until Dawn.
Okay.
That's another one because I mean I enjoy the survival horror genre. I've mentioned before that I personally don't find the survival horror, those hardcore horror games, bad or problematic or anything. Up until PT, I will readily admit that I had that.
was
I had
freaky
that
as all
feeling
hell.
with PT that it
That
was.
thing was nuts.
It didn't linger though. You know, as soon as I stopped playing, I was like, okay, yeah. But it did a great job of really breaking that fourth wall and pulling you in and really
If you
disturbing
turn the
you.
sound off, that game would not be scary. Maybe. No.
It would be less scary, but I still think it could manage.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
So back in the Uncharted before we leave that.
Yeah.
So very cinematic throughout the game with all the cutscenes they throw in there. The gameplay itself, I love the puzzle and exploring of the world aspect of it. The moment where there were bad guys and I had to start killing people was the moment that, like, not quite as good. You know, you get held up trying to get forward with the story, and then there's all these bad guys you got to kill. You'll spend like 20, 30 minutes trying to shoot all these bad guys down. And I'm getting better at that part of it, but I do definitely enjoy that part less. I'd rather do the I'm climbing up with this wall and finding these puzzles to how to progress forward in this area, being the more Indiana Jones side of things without Indiana Jones having to kill the people, which he sometimes does.
Well, you know, in the original Indiana Jones, in some of the older movies, Indy was pretty ruthless too. He wasn't as ruthless as Nathan Drake, you know, killing hundreds of people. But I mean, Indiana Jones racked up, you know,
He
20,
did.
30 person body counts in the original movies.
He did. What other movies are there?
Well, I mean, the Crystal Skull, he only killed one person, and the person actually died off camera,
Yeah.
so it doesn't really count.
Crystal Skull's an Indiana Jones movie, right? Yeah. I joke. I actually like Crystal Skull. Send her hate mail to me. But I am getting better at the shooting thing. I do like the health mechanic where if I just like find cover, I can like recover and be all good. Because otherwise I would not be making through this game too well because I'd be dead. Yeah, the gun assortment's kind of cool. You're limited to carrying 2 guns at a time, which makes sense. I mean, you can't carry an arsenal.
Actually, I would have to directly disagree with you. I very vividly remember a time in Baghdad where I was in a building. I kid you not. I was guarding a stairwell, and I had my M4, which is a rifle, in one hand with the 203 attachment, which is a grenade launcher attachment,
Okay.
underneath it. And that was pointing up one set of stairs. I had a shotgun in my other hand.
You
and that was
shot
pointing...
grenades, Mr. Jason.
Yes, and I had a shotgun in hand that was pointing down another set of stairs, and I had my 9mm strapped to my leg, so I felt like a real-life Rambo that day.
Now, if you shot the shotgun with one hand, wouldn't you get like pushed back quite a bit? Or are you that good?
No, I'm not that good. I would say, though, that if I had to shoot the shotgun one-handed, it would be a one shot to drop to then rapid pull out my 9mm. It would be, you know,
Yeah.
that would stop the first guy.
I will say in Uncharted, my favorite weapon is the one you start with. It's just a simple pistol. It's the most powerful and accurate one there. I mean, you have the automatics that are like worth a squat. I don't know. It's weird. Like that one's pretty solid.
Well, you know, I mean, I think the penultimate video game pistol is the original pistol in Halo 1.
Was it super powerful back then?
Oh, it was so awesome because it also had a 2x scope on it.
Yeah.
It had good stopping power. You know, distance didn't make an issue. The 2x scope. It was honestly more people killed with the pistol than I think anything else in Halo 1.
Yeah. Now I do like in this game that when you get a little losses where to go next, it'll kind of give you hints. I like that in the game. I don't like just dorking around for 2 hours, not knowing when to go. That's kind of cool. Um, it's kind of there's a lot of forward momentum as far as the story. Like you're pretty instantly kind of inside of the tomb and tomb hunting and stuff, and that's cool to get through. Um, and it's got some likable characters. Drake, I'm starting to like more. At the beginning, it's like, what's the big deal? This guy's not really that awesome. I don't know why people like this Drake guy so much, but
Did you ever actually play the original Tomb Raider games?
I've never played a single Tomb Raider game in my entire life.
I was just curious. I've played some Tomb Raider, but I haven't played Uncharted. I was wondering if you'd played them for a comparison there. Because, I mean...
I actually didn't realize the name of Tomb Raider was as literal as it meant of a lady raiding tombs until recently when I was talking to Aaron Rivera about it.
Yes. She is a tomb raider.
Yeah. So that's the thing, yeah. But no, I own it on Xbox One, the Tomb Raider that came out.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll be playing that at some point. But I love this chapter dividing up. It makes it pretty nice stopping points, you know. I also really appreciate that when you do die, it doesn't penalize you too much as far as backtracking you forever. You're not replaying a bunch of stuff most of the time. So if you do like a dumb fall where you're jumping through stuff, it's not too bad with that.
Hey, that's a great segue for me. Speaking of playing games with dumb falls.
Oh, parkouring.
Yeah, so I played some Dying Light. And
you did not have the Matrix Zen in you.
No, I don't. I want to enjoy the game. I really do. I personally, I'm part of the pop culture that still doesn't yet have a problem with zombies. I appreciate them in all of their assorted incarnations, from 28 Days Later to Night of the Living Dead to Army of Darkness. I like zombies. I enjoy.
Oh,
them.
I do too. Did you see Peter Jackson's early zombie movie, Brain Dead or Dead Alive?
No,
it's pretty great.
I'm gonna have to check that out. But anyways, my problem is that the parkour controls in Dying Light. It's a great looking game, but I think it boils down to I don't like first person parkour, and I feel like the game would be exponentially better with a third person view. I mean, graphically it's great.
Seems like you get a headache too, right? Does that happen?
Well, no, I've never had a problem with that. I don't have a problem playing any first person games or 3D or headaches or motion sickness with any of that crap.
Okay.
But it's like in the early game there you have a not necessarily a walkthrough, but like a walkthrough area, a training area where it's trying to teach you how to parkour. And I swear to God, there was one jump I must have died 5 or 6 times just trying to make that jump. But of course they didn't penalize me. It was training and so on and so forth. But it's still, in my opinion, that moment right there highlighted the flaws with that first person
you're looking
parkour.
Straight. You're not looking at the ground to where the ground ends.
Yeah, well, and you have to do that because your jump is based off of kind of where you're looking, you know, and it just where you're looking is where you're moving, and it just I think if they would change it to a third person a la Assassin's Creed, it would almost be perfect. It's a great looking game. I'm sorry, I can't say that. It's a great looking game, but there are a lot of times it might have some of the worst voice acting I've ever heard. Some cheesy Resident Evil 1 type of horrible voice acting.
I never experienced that bad voice acting though.
Oh man, Resident Evil 1 is readily ridiculed for some of its voice acting, and I feel like there are times where this is right there with it. But the gameplay itself is solid, other than the parkour, and I hear that...
Which is the main feature of this game, right? That makes it...
yes and no, but I also hear that later in the game, it's like you almost level up, that the parkour becomes easier because you're getting better at it, and it's faster because you're getting better at it. And there's equipment that you get that makes it where your movement is easier and not necessarily limited by parkour anyways. Yeah. And essentially they kind of did it backwards, where it's like maybe the better you get, you put those harder, trickier jumps in there instead of vice versa.
Yeah. Fair point. Oh, I just want to mention back with Uncharted, I have basically relegated one of my PS4 controllers to always be plugged in to my PS3 as its controller. And I really want either that PlayStation 1 to work on my PS3 or for Sony to sell me a remote control that just has the PS button and a D-pad where I can turn on and off my system. Because you can't turn on or off the system with the PS controller, the PS4 controller. And
well, if you buy the PS3 Blu-ray media remote, that can turn on and off your system.
ooh, I might have to get that.
Yes,
Is that
it's
just
actually
IR, Bluetooth? What is it?
Bluetooth.
Ooh.
Yes, as a matter of fact, I'm so mad that they don't allow it to work on my PS4.
That is amazing. That's awesome. Well, I gotta
it's
get
great.
that. How cheap are those things these days?
Probably $20. I don't know.
Okay. And then another thing, Uncharted, I guess, uses the wonderful 6-axis motion when he's walking on logs.
Oh, that's silly.
Which, of course, that's not supported by the DualShock 4. So in those instances, I just walk and fall and pick myself back up. Because he'll land on the edge and he's able to get back up. It's no big deal if you fall.
Quick time event?
No.
Oh, no? Okay.
No, you're just walking across. It kind of hints that you need to be using the motion. And he'll just drop down on the log with his hands. You have to pick yourself back up. It's like, oh boy, you had to use a stupid 6-axis crap because, you're trying to push the new hardware.
Because that makes sense.
I hope Uncharted 2 and 3 get rid of that after that newness factor is gone.
Well, I would love to tell you yes or no whether they do or not, but because I haven't played them, you'll be telling me. How about that?
I will. Prediction, how long do you think it'll take me to beat Uncharted 1? Knowing my general pace of gameplay.
Well, Shiza, knowing your general pace of games, knowing the fact that you have all the major systems, and the only unknown is
this
actually
is my
how
main
long...
focus game, I should say. This is the main one I'm playing these days. Yes.
Do you know how many hours you've actually managed to actively log on it so far?
I do not. I'm in chapter 7 of like 20-something, 28, 21.
I think we've got end of February.
Okay. That's pretty ambitious. I'd say mid-March or end of February. Yeah, so let's see if I can do it. Speaking of Uncharted, PS Now, you can now stream Uncharted 2 with your subscription plan.
I still need to try and stream a game just for the principle of streaming a game and testing the service. But man, I've said before, I hate streaming.
Spoiler alert, don't try Twisted Metal. That is rock garbage. That's garbage trying to stream that one. Too much going on.
Not surprised there.
I rented that one as my test one for 99 cents or whatever it was, or $5, whatever. I don't know, the cheapest one they had. And, that was just hysterical trying to stream a game that's really fast and a lot of
Any
stuff on
Twitch
screen.
game really shouldn't even be on that service.
Yeah. But the Uncharted might actually work okay since it's not really a Twitch game that much. God of War 2 HD was also added, as well as Red Faction Armageddon, Galaga Legions DX, and Arcana Heart 3. So.
See, I'll be honest, other than, in my opinion, like JRPG or SRPGs, most games, because even God of War, it's not a Twitch game, but the combos and the gameplay of that, it would not be conducive to the lag of streaming, in my opinion. So,
well, hopefully the lag goes away. We all get Google Fiber, and we all have incredible
$1 million,
internet.
and
is that $100 a month?
Honestly, I don't remember how much. I think
it's $100, and I currently pay $65 to Comcast. I don't know. That's not. It's a little bit more. It's like $35. That's a lot more a month, actually.
But what's your connection with Comcast?
It's 25 down, like 5 up or something.
That's all?
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, has Comcast... I've got to ask, has Comcast ever changed your name because you called to complain on them?
No. I also... it might be partially my fault because they said there's a new type of router or modem that will give me faster speeds. I have not yet bought in a new modem.
Well, I can tell you, I pay $45 a month. I get a 75 megabit connection.
Ooh.
However, because it's cable, just how cable internet works, usually my connection speed, the real world is it's around 20 to 25 megabit per second of actual speed.
That's what I was sharing. I wasn't sharing what they tell me I have because they lie.
Yeah.
So right
Well,
now I'm getting 27 down.
For the record, it's not that they lie. It's one of those things that I hate and I argue with people on a regular basis. Cable, internet, everybody in your neighborhood or whatever your zone is has the same pipeline, and the more people that actually have the service are sharing the pipeline, and the more they're using it, it's all going to affect each other's speed. So that's why I hate cable internet, is because you can't actually guarantee anything.
Yeah. But anyway,
But I
enough on
digress.
that.
Yeah.
Soon it'll get better. We'll all move to Atlanta and have Google Fiber.
I know. I'm so jealous of. John lives in Atlanta, doesn't he?
Yeah. Like, there's like 6 cities in the Atlanta area that are all getting it. He's in one of them.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
other news. Square Enix has they teased and then revealed Project Code Z, which is going to be a reboot. Not a reboot, but a 3D spiritual. Not even spiritual. A 3D successor. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Spelunker Z. And Spelunker is an action type of game that spawned the roguelike Spelunky.
Yep.
I don't know. I have never played the original Spelunker. It's a little old for my tastes, and I'm not sure it really survived the
Spelunky is a
testament of
big hit.
time too well. Yeah, Spelunky. I have Spelunky actually. But here's hoping that Spelunker Z, because they upped the graphics and everything. You know, obviously it's a full 3D type of game. I'm interested in trying it out. You know, and Square Enix has a lot of credibility with me, so.
Very cool. MLB The Show 15, 10th anniversary edition, got announced. I don't care about baseball,
Yay, sports.
but some people may. It's got the steel book with exclusive cover, 12K in stubs, a $10 value, 15 bonus item packs, a $15 value, all 30 MLB team dynamic themes, an MLB 15 dynamic theme. I'm not sure if that's PS4 dynamic theme or what that is. $130 in DLC value. This is a steal. It's available 3/31/15. So there you go.
MLB The Show, I understand, is pretty much the definitive baseball game, but I really couldn't care less. I physically could not care less. I'm happy.
Oh.
I'm happy for anybody that's interested in it, but it's not a game you're going to see pop up anywhere on any of my feeds or queues.
Yeah. By pre-ordering digitally, you get a free voucher for a DualShock 4 skin for the MLB choice of your team from Skin It. Look at these beautiful Skin It team renditions here.
Those look like atrocities.
These are pretty hilariously bad. Oh,
Anybody who
boy.
would do that to their controller deserves to have their controller taken away from them.
Oh boy, that's pretty bad. I gotta say, sorry. I'm sorry if we offended any people that love the MLB, but you know.
Look, like I said, I can understand and appreciate that apparently it is the pinnacle of baseball games, but it's still just the pinnacle of baseball games. I mean,
So, old school, Grim Fandango.
yes.
Did you get this? Any interest in this one?
No, the whole point and click adventure series, in my opinion, has been usurped by the storytelling games of Telltale Games, basically.
Okay. I've tried many times to play point and click adventures. Like they released a lot of the LucasArts ones on iPad a while back, like Monkey Island.
Yeah, yeah.
And I just don't understand those things and how they work and how they're fun and how to do them.
Yeah, you know, I don't understand how it's an acceptable excuse, but apparently the truth is people didn't know how to make video games back then. And I've heard so many reviews about Grim Fandango, like, you know, to get out of the office at the very beginning, how difficult it is. You know, you've got to, it never tells you that this dark little area that looks like a corner is actually an alley that you have to click on and it doesn't give you a hint, it doesn't tell you anything. Basically, if you're not willing to do it with a walkthrough, it's just going to be a stressful, unentertaining time. And they used to call it pixel hunting, finding the right place to click on. And I
Like, I
guess
never
it's
understood
true.
this fascination with point-and-click adventures. I
Well,
haven't.
the idea of a point-and-click adventure could be fine, but when it's so fighting against you and not helping you, I guess it is true that people just didn't know how to make video games back then.
And people love this game. They
I
absolutely
know,
love
it's
this game.
critically acclaimed, received, wanted.
Yeah, it's amazing.
There's no accounting for taste, I guess.
Yes, no. Or we didn't have the nostalgic to. I never played those as a kid, so no nostalgic for me, and maybe that's part of it. I don't know. Did you ever play these as a kid?
No, and you can't say that because, for example, Super Mario 3, I have nostalgia for that because I did play that as a kid, but you know what? It stands up today.
It still is good, yeah. But there's certain games like GoldenEye, perhaps I enjoy more because I played as a kid.
Nope, still stands up today.
Okay.
Graphically,
No.
Graphically, it may not be able to stand up, but the gameplay itself does.
Oh, for sure. Nothing
And
better than loading up thousands of mines in this place and just letting
Oh,
it loose
God.
on something. That's so great.
Nothing but slappers and mines.
Oh yeah, so awesome! Throwing mines at people's heads. Yeah, it's.
So yeah, I can understand what you're saying about whole. The graphics may not stand up, but the gameplay itself was there. It stands up today.
Yeah, you shouldn't need nostalgic for gameplay mechanics.
Right. Graphics, I can understand not necessarily appreciating. Some graphics age better than others. And especially in the dawn of 3D era, a lot of those games don't stand up at all.
Rose-colored glasses.
Yes.
Now, what is now a thing is Qbert rebooted.
Yeah, that did just come out of nowhere today.
PS3, PS4, and Vita. I've never played a Qbert game. Have you?
Yeah. Like way back in the, I guess.
missed out on the Qbert thing.
I'm sorry.
I played
Yeah.
Taco and stuff.
I forget. You're what, like 23 years old?
I'm 27, you youngin.
Well, you did miss.
Are you in your
Qbert.
30s?
I am 30. Yes.
You're 30. Okay. I don't want to be 30. That scares me.
Yeah. Well, Qbert was still a game when I was younger on the. I don't remember if I played it on my Commodore or my Atari because my family had both of those when I was a kid. But yeah, I definitely played me some Qbert.
All I know him from is the Wreck-It Ralph movie.
Oh, Tim, you make my heart hurt.
I mean, it's just how it is, Now I grew up with Pinbot, the best pinball game ever made. So you're getting Qbert remastered?
Actually, Qbert was an amazingly enjoyable game that when I heard that, I might actually be willing to check it out depending on how much they want for it.
Yeah. Vita, that'd be a good Vita game, I think, nice portable game.
Yeah, actually, I mean,
I wonder
but
if it's
then again,
cross-buy. It should be cross-buy.
I hope so. But I'm finding myself more and more just enjoying portable games altogether and saying, man, I really hope I can get this on my Vita.
Yeah, Vita does not have a ton of...
It doesn't have blockbuster games,
Yeah,
but it
that's
has
the
a
thing.
lot of games. That's just it. I don't need every game to be AAA blockbusters.
But it's so disappointing because the Vita could probably handle blockbusters. That's the sad part.
It could handle more
Like,
than
it's
it currently...
a machine that's like playing PSP games almost.
No, it's more than PSP.
More than
But
PSP, but it's like not
That
its full potential at all.
that having been said, remember one of my predictions is that we're going to get at least an announcement of an infamous Vita game.
You're hilarious. You're just funny. I joke because that
It would be
Sony's
nice.
done with first party games with the Vita. Really, they might have a small indie studio work on something. I don't know. But
Yeah. Let's see. News-wise, though, the only other major thing I had to talk about was well, actually, there's two things. One.
development company.
Oh, I'm sorry, three. I totally forgot about that, especially because we talked about it last hour.
Yeah, I didn't have my notes either. I forgot to pull that one up.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll do the two common stories afterwards. But the big thing, the only other big thing I had was one of the other big games I'm interested in. I've mentioned before that I have this liking of just these giant games. I don't know what other word. Propensity. There's some word along. Anyways, that Witcher 3 is a game I'm interested in, and The Witcher 3 is supposed to have a 50 gigabyte install on the PS4. So if you buy it digitally, that's not accounting for actually, how much room the game itself takes up. That's an additional 50 gig install.
Wait, it does have on disc too, though, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's a game you probably don't want to buy digitally.
Why?
Because you would like to
storage space.
If you buy it, well, no, you're gonna have to download the game, have the data of all the download plus the additional 50 gig install there. You're probably looking at 80 gigs on a digital version of the game.
Why? Okay. Does that happen still? Because on Xbox One, I had a pretty much completely full console. I could still download these huge games. Are they doing some magic on Xbox? Like, I think that's not a thing anymore. You don't need double the space anymore to install games.
It's not necessarily double the space. It's the actual install, because not on the Xbox One, it actually installs necessarily the full game. There's a difference between downloading a digital game or installing a game. And
yeah, so like with Master Chief, it's like this crazy huge. It's the full disc plus the 20 gigs or whatever.
Right, but that's just it. Is since I bought the disc, I don't have to have the same full disc. Well, actually, no, for the Xbox One, because
I downloaded it though.
Yeah,
so it didn't need like 120 gigs to install a 60 gig game.
No,
like you would have had to on PS3.
Yeah, but if the game itself takes up, say, 40 gigs of disk space, plus has a 20 gig install, that's 60 gigs that's being taken up on the Xbox One.
What do you mean? Disk space and install, it's the same thing.
Not quite, actually. For example, there was a 20 gig day one patch.
Those are updates. That's different.
I had to download a 20 gig day one patch. I didn't have to download 40 gigs of disk space.
I'm so confused right now. Because there's updates, there's the main game, then you have updates, right? That's kind of how it works, right?
But if you buy the physical copy, you don't. With the Xbox One, yes, because it actually installs and makes copies of every game directly on.
PlayStation doesn't do that. I thought it installs the same, like a digital copy of the game.
PlayStation does a limited install, which will usually make games run faster or what have you.
I don't think that's accurate because on PlayStation. Oh wait!
I can
on
promise
Xbox,
you
on Xbox, if you have a game installed, you can just go to the store and hit buy. On PlayStation, it makes you re-download the whole freaking game. You might be onto something there, Jason.
Yes,
might be onto there something. So on Xbox, they're doing it. I would say the proper way. I don't know.
It depends on how much you think that they're disrespecting your hard drive space, so to speak. I don't know. I like physical copies. I'm one of those diehard grognards that I prefer owning discs of my games.
I still do for my Nintendo consoles, but...
I do for everything. About the only digital games I get are either massive sales or free games.
Yeah, the Xbox for me is an all-digital console. Just how it is. Anyways, Sony Online Entertainment?
Is no longer part of Sony Computer Entertainment.
It's no longer Sony Online Entertainment. It's just like Daybreak Games or whatever,
Yeah, Daybreak Studios, I think is what they call themselves.
It's weird they didn't have... There's no online at all hinting in their title. Like, the old one's very clear. It's like, this is for our online games. Daybreak's like, we can make non-online games in the future that,
I guess they could, yeah, because the online's not in the name. All the properties they currently own are online games, but now that they're a separate studio and online,
they can make a Daybreak zombie game.
Yeah, they could.
Seems like a good name, Daybreak.
They could, and I'm interested in some of the game. Well, one of the games they have coming out, the H1Z1. So we'll see how things pan out. You know what's the biggest shame about that as a Nintendo fanboy is they said, "Yay, we're going multi-platform. Can't wait to work on Xbox One."
Yeah.
But nothing's coming to Wii U.
I don't think the online, if they're doing online games, that'd be kind of interesting for Wii U. Yeah.
I don't know. I will say that the Wii U, Nintendo with the Wii U has a bigger, more robust, more active online community.
Oh, it's great
than anybody would have ever expected.
It's phenomenal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Smash stuff and all that other stuff. But yeah, this is huge news. Sony lost or sold. They didn't lose it. They did this on purpose, guys.
Yeah, they spun it off. Sony is still looking for constant ways to make money, and by spinning it off as a separate company, you can guarantee that some of that revenue is still going back to big Sony, and it's going to be better for them in the long run.
I mean, these being online only games, these don't seem like Sony's biggest hits. Like this isn't Uncharted, this isn't Naughty Dog, this isn't Little Big Planet, this isn't those kind of. They're still big games. They're just not the big games that I feel are big games.
This is H1Z1, EverQuest Online. The other names are escaping me all of a sudden, but yeah, it's
like how big are these? A lot of these games. Are these
first of all, EverQuest. Yeah. EverQuest is a multi-million game, and it's also got a cult following. H1Z1 is a new property, maybe not so much. DC Universe Online actually is a multi-million user following.
That was PlayStation exclusive up until now, DC Universe
PlayStation
Online?
And PC, yes.
Oh, it was on PC. That's where.
See, that's the thing about Sony Online Entertainment is, quote, Sony Online Entertainment was limited in the console space to Sony.
Because
but
Sony
there
used
is
to
the
sell
PC
laptops.
Master Race.
Sony used to sell laptops, so that'd be appropriate, right?
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. But yeah, so that can be on Xbox, and that's cool. Yeah.
Hopefully it works out well for them.
So what other news do you have?
The only other thing we had talked about before was everybody misunderstanding technology and the news and the reporting of the Netflix representative saying that we were going to get hardware revisions for both the Xbox and the PlayStation, appropriately, the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 to support 4K services from Netflix. And the truth is, for just video out of the box, the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One are both hardware capable. We probably will get an OS or a firmware update to actually support the streaming of 4K content. Mm-hmm. And while I did predict we will get a PlayStation 4 Slim/revision, and now combining those two things, there's a chance the revision may include whatever the additional display connection technology is, because there's a different type of connector that isn't HDMI, that is not HDMI for 4K content and higher, though HDMI can play 4K content. At the end of the day, it's such a non-story that anybody who actually knows what they're talking about understands that.
If you watch most people their press releases, I think both mentioned they can output 4K video.
Yes. 4K gaming takes a lot more horsepower to
we can play it over 720p versus 1080p. Yeah, no way they're pushing out 4K games unless it's like a...
Here's the truth is, I've never even met anybody with a 4K TV that I don't even care.
They're starting to be more widespread.
By the end of this year, you might either... It was a
big push this last Christmas.
It was a push. It's going to be a bigger push this year. But by the end of this year...
prices are falling.
Counting yourself and anybody you know, you probably won't even be able to fill up one hand full of the number of people you know with a 4K TV at the end of this year.
Yeah, I mean, prices are falling. It's just a matter of, do you need a new TV? Because a lot of people don't.
I don't know. I'm not rushing out for 4K. If I have to buy a new TV, I'll of course try to buy a 4K. But I think 4K is going to be that thing that I'm skipping, and I'll wait for 5 or 8K.
I'm just waiting for my projector. I need a home theater projector that's 4K. That's not like $10,000.
You can get them for I think about $3,000 to $5,000 right now.
Yeah, it's too much. It needs to be around $1,000.
Well, look, it's not $10,000. That's what you just said.
Yeah, that's true. But so the even bigger thing is um, I need an Apple TV and iTunes content that's in 4K from you to consider the warranty of it.
I need something that doesn't have a ridiculously low data cap so that I can do that.
I have no data cap. Screw you, Comcast. I'll stream 4K
See,
all day long.
I think I have a better speed connection than you, but I have a data cap, so yeah.
Yeah, I've gone through a terabyte in a month without Comcast contacting me about anything.
I've done that.
Yeah.
My cable company was not happy with me.
Did they talk to you?
Yeah, I get so many warnings before they charge me, and let's just say that I'm out of warnings.
Yeah, I don't get warnings. I just use what I want. They're cool. Live free or die, New Hampshire. Oh boy. But that's all I have for this week.
Yeah, that's all that I have as well. I mean, I covered the only games I played, and yeah.
Yeah, I'm my PS4 is a little bit of Destiny, and
Well, I'm sorry. I have been throwing down again really hard. They released an update a couple weeks ago for Diablo 3, so
Yeah.
I've been really playing me some Diablo 3 all over again. But other than that, yeah, I mean, it's
But
nothing new.
Uncharted is my jam right now. I'm going to be playing Uncharted's my main game, and I'm loving it so far. It's weird. It's one of those games where I turn off the podcast, I turn off my audiobook, and I'm really focused in on the story and everything going on. Those games don't come along that often for me. Like a lot of games, I'll just run out to podcast or something. But,
What audiobook are you listening to right now? I just have to ask.
The Left Hand of Darkness, something like that. Let me see.
Okay, I'm going to give you some recommendations off the
This is
air
a
for
book
some
club,
much better books.
This is a book club book. It's a sci-fi book. So this is our book for the month. So trying to get.
I'm going to educate
I had
you.
to download a YouTube audio because it was not on Audible, and it's a very obscure book. Good Reader is where I have that.
But yeah, so yeah, I don't have anything else either this week.
Yes, Left Hand of Darkness. Sorry, the audiobook. I'm 90 minutes into it, 8.5 hours left. So
Do you listen at regular speed?
yeah, regular speed.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so that's the week in PlayStation. We'll be back next time for level 24. And Mr. Jason can be found at Risen Devil. No E in the Risen, but
Correct.
use E's in the Devil. Yep.
Yeah, RISNDEVIL.
Yeah, that's it. And that's everywhere, including the weird LO place that no one's at and you can't find people at. And my handle is TCHATEN. Follow me on Twitter there, YouTube for the video versions of the show, youtube.com/tchaden. And follow me on the gaming networks, and we can game online when I'm not playing Uncharted. So with that said, we'll be back next time for level 24.
Have a good one.
Okay, bye.
Bye.